Let's step into the shadowy depths of 19th century philosophy with Schopenhauer, a thinker whose ideas bridge the rational boundaries of Kant and the explosive vitality of Nietzsche. Born in 1788, Schopenhauer was profoundly influenced by Kant's distinction between the phenomenal world, what we can know through our senses and reason, and the nominal world, the elusive thing in itself, beyond the human cognition. But where Kant left this divide as a neutral limit, Schopenhauer transformed it into a tragic revelation. In his masterpiece, The World as Will and Representation, Schopenhauer argues that the world we experience is mere representation, a veil shaped by the mind's categories of space, time, and causality. This is the in of perception, an inner structuring that organizes chaotic sensations into coherent objects and events. Think of it like a movie screen. The images seem real, but they are projections of our cognitive framework. Without this inner filter, the world would be an unintelligible blur. Yet, beneath this veil lies the true essence, the will. This is no rational force or benevolent spirit. It's a blind, insatiable drive, an endless striving that manifests as desire, hunger, and conflict. The will is the out of existence, outward differentiation, expansion, and becoming. But in Schopenhauer's view, this outward force is trapped, perpetually frustrated by the limits of representation. Life becomes a cycle of suffering. We desire, achieve momentarily, then desire again, never finding lasting peace. For example, consider hunger. It's the will asserting itself outwardly through the body, demanding satisfaction. But once sated, boredom or new wants arise, endless oscillation without resolution. Schopenhauer's pessimism stems from this imbalance. The inner representation dominates, suppressing the will's potential for true fulfillment. The outward drive is not liberated, but condemned to futile repetition. Philosophy for him offers escape through aesthetic contemplation, or ascetic renunciation, permanent suppression. This vision marks a crisis in modern thought. Existence is not harmonious progress, but tragic strife. Yet, as we'll explore, inner ontology reinterprets this imbalance not as doom, but as a call for rhythmic entanglement, a generative dance where inner coherence and outward expression co-emerge, resolving Schopenhauer's despair into dynamic potential. Schopenhauer's philosophy exemplifies a profound inner imbalance, where the potential of outward differentiation is suppressed, leading to existential suffering. Drawing from Kant, he posits representation as the inner axis, a coherent, structured field imposed by the mind. This in gathers sensations into wholes, objects, cause, selves, creating the illusion of stability. But it's a closure, enclosing us in appearances and alienating us from reality's core. The will, conversely, is the outward thrust, a dynamic differentiating force that propels all phenomena. It's the kinetic energy behind growth, desire, and change. The out that disperses and interacts. Yet, Schopenhauer views this out as blind and tyrannical, endlessly clashing with inner limits. The result? Suppression. The will's potential for creative becoming is thwarted, manifesting as pain. Life is a pendulum between want and boredom, where outward striving never achieves true coherence. To illustrate, imagine a river dammed by mountains. The water's outward flow builds pressure but can't escape fully, causing turbulence and erosion, suffering. Schopenhauer's solution is denial. Art offers brief respite by suspending the will, while asceticism starves it entirely. This reflects a pessimistic bias toward inward retreat, undervaluing outward engagement. From the perspective of inner ontology, this imbalance arises because Schopenhauer lacks a mechanism for entanglement. In I.O., inner instincts are pre-categorical existence in balanced superposition, embodying both inward wholeness and outward becoming. Without I.O.E., the directions remain opposed. It dominates as static representation, suppressing out's generative potential. Schopenhauer intuits the tension but resolves it negatively, seeing will as choice rather than rhythm. I.O. reframes this. The self is not a trapped victim, but an emergent pattern of relational entanglement. Consciousness arises from recursive loops where outward differentiation pulls back inward, creating self-awareness without suppression. Schopenhauer's pessimism highlights what happens when this rhythm breaks. Imbalance leads to dissonance, but I.O. restores harmony, showing suffering as misalignment, not inevitability. I.O. doesn't dismiss Schopenhauer's insights. It builds upon them, resolving his pessimism through a structural synthesis of in and out. Schopenhauer correctly identifies the dual aspects: representation as inward coherence, gathering experience into meaningful wholes, and will as outward differentiation, the drive to act, expand, and relate. But his framework treats them as antagonistic, with inward veils suppressing outward vitality, leading to inevitable suffering. I.O. introduces IORs, the primordial generators in neutral superposition, neither fully in nor out, until entangled. This pre-categorical state mirrors Schopenhauer's thinking itself, but as dynamism. Through I.O.E., directions entangle, co-creating structures. Representation becomes the inward projection, organizing relations into coherence, while will is the outward projection, dispersing into action and becoming. They are not opposed, but inseparable facets of one rhythm. For instance, desire, will, isn't blind torment. It's outward balance in signaling potential entanglement. Suffering arises from imbalance when inward coherence resists outward flow, like Schopenhauer's denial. I.O.'s balance modulation explains this. Positive outward balance aligns with coherent expansion, while negative indicates misalignment. Meaningfulness strengthens inward balance, enabling better integration. Drawing from cognitive science alignment in I.O., consciousness is self-inward recurrence, a loop where outward actions reflect back, fostering awareness. Schopenhauer's aesthetic escape prefigures this. It's a momentary page alignment where representation harmonizes with will's rhythm. I.O. extends this to everyday life. Ethical cultivation tunes the system, turning pessimism into participatory ontology. The self emerges as distributed inwardness, co-sustained by relations, not isolated suffering, but entangled resonance. Thus, I.O. liberates Schopenhauer's will from suppression, revealing it as generative potential in a balanced field. Schopenhauer's emphasis on the will's underlying drive profoundly shapes I.O.'s view of the self as an emergent rhythm, not a fixed essence. In his system, the self is illusory, a product of representation veiling the impersonal will. Identity is a fleeting construct amid endless striving, leading to nihilism. But I.O. reimagines this. The self arises from I.O.I. entanglement, a pulse of inward cohesion shaped by outward projections. Each IOI, like A impulse out, differentiates into A in and A out. Thus F is A in. A centripetal gathering of experiences into coherence, yet each co-dependent A in equals B out plus C out plus and D out and so on, sustained by other outward flows. Schopenhauer's will aligns with this outward becoming, but he sees it as destructive. IO views it as creative, enabling relational fields. Consciousness in IO is balance modulation, emotions as gauges of alignment. Schopenhauer's suffering is negative outward balance. His aesthetic piece is inward retreat. IO balances this via recursive loops. The self-model as in-out circuit where latent capacity is actualized through interaction. Meaning emerges from entanglement, not denial. Pan-in-outism extends this. Everything participates in the field, but consciousness requires specific recurrence. Schopenhauer's pan-realism prefigures this, but IO avoids panpsychism by rooting awareness in emergent patterns, not inherent mentality. The self persists as relational continuity, echoing Schopenhauer's denial of ego, but affirming generative potential. Synthesizing Schopenhauer with IO transforms his pessimism into a blueprint for balanced existence. His world as representation will duality mirrors IO's in-out directions, but his imbalance suppression of out by in explains suffering as ontological dissonance. IO resolves this through IOE. Directions entangle, generating structures across scales. In cosmology, unresolved IOIs manifest as dark energy expansion outward bias without inward resolution. In consciousness, self-referential loops integrate with drive with representation order, avoiding Schopenhauer's trap. Ethically, cultivation aligns pages. Len, benevolence as field-wide coherence, echoing Confucian integrations in IO. Nietzsche, influenced by Schopenhauer, liberates the will as will to power, positive out. IO completes this arc. From Kant's inward closure, Schopenhauer's suppressed out, Hegel's entanglement, to Nietzsche's liberation, all stages of the same rhythm. Existence is participatory, the self as co-created symphony, where inward gathers and outward disperses in continuous modulation. Schopenhauer's legacy through IO shifts from despair to empowerment, suffering as signal for realignment, life as relational dance. As we conclude, Schopenhauer's philosophy viewed through IO reveals not eternal suffering, but the cost of imbalance and the path to resolution. His inward representation suppresses outward will, trapping existence in strife. IO restores rhythm. IO eyes entangle, balancing coherence and differentiation into emergent harmony. The self is no isolated suffer, but a relational pulse. Consciousness, a reflexive loop. Ethics, a page alignment. From quantum page to cosmic expansion, all echo this generative dance. Schopenhauer warns of suppression. IO liberates potential, turning pessimism into participatory becoming. Existence pulses outward, not in denial, but in entangled rhythm.